what makes a real man is this balanced, rounded masculinity, this positive masculinity. We have a lot of movements today, like, you know, you got Red Pill and Pick Up and all this. And I think there's truth in all of these movements, right? But we need to understand where these movements come from. Do they come from divine revelation and perfect laws, or do they come from, a lot of the time, frustrated reactionary movements?
Yeah, it's a nice way to put it. Frustrated reactionary movements. That's exactly it.
This makes me want to ask you, what are your thoughts on Red Pill?
Look, Red Pill helped me a lot get out of a very unhealthy marriage.
Right.
I realized from reading Rollo Tomasi's book, The Rational Male, that I was effectively being exploited.
Yeah.
And that I had every right as a man to say, hang on, I deserve better than this. I deserve a partner who actually cares about my health, cares about my well-being, and isn't just, you know, essentially using me for resources and security. So I think Red Pill definitely has its place. And I mean, I'm in touch with Rollo. I've said to him, hey man, your book changed my life. Thank you for that.
Of course.
But I think Red Pill will help you understand what's wrong, but it won't give you an answer as to how to fix it.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
100%, 100%.
And for me, I think anyone who puts a lot of energy into the Red Pill, put energy into making yourself a more capable man instead. Put energy into I mean, yes, be aware of how relationships, especially in the modern day and age, can become negative, and be aware of, you know, toxic people. But it's not just women, toxic men. Be aware of toxic people, you know, and be very conscious of how you set up a relationship, and being clear about what you expect from her, and, you know, clear about understanding what she expects from you, and so on. But I think at the end of the day, if you go with the traditional values, and you find a woman who also wants traditional values, and you're really focusing on being the best man that you can be, and being that patriarch who provides and protects, and not just financially. At a certain point, the finances thing isn't the issue. Giving time to the woman you care about, giving that real,
Quality
I feel
time.
something's not right in you, let's talk about it. No, everything's fine. No, really, I can feel something. What's up? And then poof, you find out there's stuff that's been sitting there for a week. Being that man who really cares about his woman. If you're on your grind, if you're on your mission, if you're mission focused with the right men around you, and you've found a woman who wants what you want from a relationship, I don't think all that Red Pill stuff is necessary. I think Red Pill is very useful if you're in a Western relationship as a man and you feel inside, hang on, I'm giving all of this, yet I don't get anything back. Sure, get across the Red Pill, make changes, enjoy that divorce process. It's a mess. It's not fun for anybody. But then go and create a more healthy relationship. So yeah, Red Pill definitely useful for men to realize they're being exploited by a system, or by an individual, or by a toxic person, as unfortunately a lot of people are nowadays. There's a lot of narcissism. There's a lot of users, a lot of takers, not givers. But I don't think it has any benefit or application for creating that positive alternative. And I think traditional values is the way. I think religion in terms of the Islamic approach, if you want that multiple woman scenario, is the way to find the positive answers to go about and create that positive relationship. I think Red Pill is pretty negative overall, which it needs to be. You're studying what's gone wrong, but it doesn't give you that way to fix it.
Yeah, it's a great way to put it. And, you know, I think the problem is Red Pill has become prescriptive. You know, this whole like pickup culture, and like basically give your wife the impression you don't care about her because you let her do whatever. All these, you know, horrible, very un-Islamic things, by the way. You know, these concepts are actually being pushed nowadays by Red Pill. And that's why, you know, it's developed this kind of black pill and MGTOW and all these things that are a little more incel-like, because it's just, some of them are just pure hatred towards women. We want nothing to do with them. Islam has nothing like that, bro. In Islam, the Prophet, one of the things he said before he passed away, peace and blessing be upon him, was take care of your women, take care of your women, take care of your women. That was something that he was big on, you know? And you saw how he took care of his wives, and you also saw how he, you know, kind of disciplined them in a way. There was a time where all of his wives were kind of giving him a difficult time, and he took 27 days or so away from all of them. But at the same time, Islam gives rights to them, that you're not allowed to neglect them. You're not allowed to basically go more than 3 months without being with them, you know, intimately and that stuff. These things are there to protect both the man and the woman.
I like it.
And a lot of that is completely missing from the West.
And that, again, I'd ask the question for those who are following the Red Pill or whatever, how's that working out for you? Seriously, that's the ultimate challenge. Again, to the wokeism, the religion, the followers of the religion of wokeism, how's that working out for you? Are you fulfilled? Are you happy? And I laugh when I hear some of this Red Pill stuff. She's not yours. It's just your turn.
Oh man.
Haram. I'm sorry. If you were a good man and you were taking care of a good woman, she would never dream of going on to another man. And I can say that with full authority and lived experience. So it's I think the people who are really believing that red pill, if the red pill is their religion, they're also missing out on the best version of themselves and the best path in terms of a lived experience. And Islam gives them guidance and answers there.
So what would you say to the person that's like, okay, I hear you, but where do I start? You know, what about Islam is, you know,
okay, well, I'd say first of all, to the MGTOW guys, if you need to take time out of dating and focus on getting your money right, your fitness right, you know, your brotherhood right, excellent. I think I wouldn't even call it MGTOW. I'd call it focusing on yourself as a man and building your capabilities. That's a very positive thing. So I'm all for that. But I'd say a man is happiest when he has a loyal, giving, caring partner next to him. Because the one thing brothers can't give you is feminine healing energy. And also women encourage you to enjoy life. Like women are much more aesthetic. You can tell if a house is a man's only house or if there's a woman there. It's a more beautiful environment if there's a woman there. Walking along a street, you know, a man won't notice the sunset or the beautiful trees. A woman will say, "Hey, baby, look at this," and then you experience more of the beauty of life with a good woman next to you. So, I'm not sure if I'm answering your question there, brother, but that would be my answer to the MGTOW guys.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. I mean, even in my experience, like I, alhamdulillah, you know, actually renovated a big part of my house for my wife. I literally, like, I put up walls, I put up doors. But man, when she decorated that thing, it was a whole other universe.
And there's an energy behind that. When a woman has made a house into a home, it gives you that sense of, you know, I'm out in the world doing combat, dealing with, you know, business, people trying to shark me, whatever. Or in my line of work, actual combat. You come home to a place that has that feminine energy, that peace, that beauty. I wouldn't buy art and put it on the wall. I don't care. Whereas when you have a woman who has an eye for these things, your home becomes your sanctuary. And that's the concept of the female healing you. I really do believe that, and I've read up on this. The back in the day, the sort of optimal thing was tribes of about 150 people, as per a sociologist of some sort or a historian, and the men would go out and they'd hunt, you know, they'd fight, they'd do what men do, then they'd come back to the camp and be around the women, and that's when they'd be in the feminine frame. You know, testosterone levels would lower, you'd be less tense. You get some meat back on from eating properly. You'd have intimate relations. You'd feel calm, relaxed. Then you go back out with your men again, back out, you know, beyond the wire, so to speak. And if we bring that to today's sort of context, a house where you don't have a woman giving you that, okay, you can relax now. This is a safe environment. There's no combat here. We're here to make you feel better, to lift you up. I think you're really missing out on a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is a good giving woman adds so much to life. It really does.
Well, let me say one more thing. It's amazing because it's not just good for you. It's not just good for the man. It's good for the kids. You know, now the kids have a good, strong, masculine dad and a loving, compassionate, empathetic mother. Literally, that's the key to success for a kid. 100%. And if you see how important it is for a kid to have a good, strong man and a loving, compassionate mother, bro, it sometimes makes me want to cry, bro. SubhanAllah.
Doesn't it warm your heart, bro? As soon as we walk in there, we see all these brothers, and some of them are coming from construction, some of them are coming from this field, that field. But you go to any of them and you offer them all the money in the world to denounce their faith. They're not going to do it.
I wouldn't. That's discipline. And that's what's lacking in Western society right there. It's, again, I would love, I mean, look, I don't consider myself to be a debater, but I would love anyone to try and debate the fact that Islam is not the only solution against shaitan and against the decaying Western society that we see. Please, somebody, if you're out there, I would love to have that conversation, because I don't see any argument against Islam fixing the downfall of society due to Western modernity and liberalism and progressivism.
You want to know what I do hear liberal women say, though? That, of course, he's Muslim. Of course, the religion that he's going to convert to is Islam. Of course, the thing that he picks to become is a Muslim, because he knows that, you know, they call him Muslim. They're like, oh, now he's a Muslim. Sharia law, you know? He's like, he's going to pick the one thing that, you know, oppresses women the most, that's misogynistic the most. What would you say to that?
I think that's...
That they just don't understand Islam, or what?
I think that's cope. I think Westerners or liberals who say, oh, Islam is misogynistic, that's cope for their lack of, one, their understanding, but two, if I was a liberal and I saw traditional families guided by, God, fulfilled people, I'd be pretty angry inside. I would see my religion, that of the religion of wokeism, in their heart, they know they're not happy. Then if they look and see these beautiful families and these brothers who are bonded together and these women who are fulfilled being women and men who are, fulfilled being men, if I was a liberal, I'd be pretty angry at that, because that confronts me with the fact that my religion isn't working for me. So I think it's all just cope. I really do. And the idea that somehow traditional values are misogynistic. I know a lot of women who are in traditional relationships who laugh and say, hang on a second, I'm provided for, I'm protected, my emotional needs are met in that my man listens to me and cares for me. If I want to have kids, I don't have to maintain a corporate career and I can stop and have kids. Where have all the good men gone? I've got one of these good men. Okay, oppress me some more then.
What's the problem?
If that's oppression, they're happy. They'd like more oppression. I think it's all just cope. And to all the liberals out there, these liberal Western women, I think I know they'd be a lot more fulfilled if they found themselves a traditional dynamic where have all the good men gone type man was there looking after them. I mean, women can make their own money, women can have their own jobs, they can do whatever they want. But if you have a masculine man next to you who listens to you, supports you, protects you, provides for you on every level, not just the physical, tell me that isn't what the liberal feminists want. A partner in life who's truly supportive. Take away the gender thing. If you've got someone else living in your house, wouldn't you want that person to feel, it's my duty to really look after you?
Yep.
Yeah.
But whereas if you're in some, feminist type society where the man is, weak and undisciplined, he can't take care of himself, let alone take care of a woman. Tell me all of these people who are hating on traditional values and saying, oh, it's misogynistic, tell me they themselves don't want a strong, caring, successful, traditional man. Of course they do. Everyone wants a partner who can look after them properly. So I just any negativity, and this is why I'm okay being off Twitter. All these leftists getting angry and throwing hate around. How are your belief systems working out for you, friend? How is your religion of wokeism making your heart full and making you sleep well at night? Just have a look at yourself before you throw negativity at people who are actually fulfilled in their lives, who have a belief system that's actually working for them.
But most people don't want to confront this and look in the mirror, see their own face. See, when you look at a lot of these women, one can argue that sure they're victims. We're all victims to some extent, right? But they've never met that guy that can take care of them, be that guy for them, And sure, yeah.
Sorry, brother.
No, go on.
What do they fantasize about? I actually saw a study, and again, it's a haram to talk about it. There's a direct correlation between being a feminist and consuming hardcore pornography.
Exactly.
There are studies out there.
Wow.
You can look this up from reputable, peer-reviewed studies.
Literature, yeah.
When we look at 50 Shades of Grey, what were the countries where it was selling? I don't think
The West.
women in fulfilled relationships need to read about getting tied up and whipped. Just going to put that out there.
Yeah.
It's so the more, I believe it might be a simplification. The more a woman is, I don't need no man. How dare you be, traditional and misogynistic. The more she's driven to that hardcore, a rough, strong man being rough with me. There's direct correlation there.
It's
So
the
you
toughest-
you can deny it with your mind, but we still have very old, through the generations
Primal
programming,
needs.
primal needs.
Exactly,
Exactly. Sorry to cut you off there,
No,
brother.
no worries. But when you look at this, we're all victims to some extent. So that woman hasn't met that guy, but she's still reading books, fantasizing about that guy.
About that guy.
Right? And the reality is, sure, you give her that guy, maybe she'll change her way. But there comes to a point where we need to take personal accountability as men and women. We can no longer just push the needle of victimization forward and be like, you know what? I've been through this. My dad wasn't there. This is my life. I don't trust no man. And this is what I'm going to continue. That's why they get so triggered at Tate and Tristan and all these people telling them as it is. Because it forces them to kind of take accountability, realize, you know what, the way that I think the world is figured out, it's wrong.
It's not
I'm
actually
going to
working.
change everything.
My belief system not working for me.
But
a
it's so
hard
much
thing to
easier.
realize.
So much easier to just be like, you know what, no, they're misogynist, they're backwards. I'm good with my life. I'm going to chase my career. And
It is. I refer to it as the sisterhood of victimhood. That's how I view feminism. And I have a daughter. I don't talk about her openly, but I have a young daughter. From an early age, martial arts. She the first time, I have videos of her when she could just walk. I was holding her hand and she was kicking a pad being held by the trainer. Because I'm not going to raise a woman who's a victim. I'm going to raise a woman who is strong, who is capable. And also another thing, when my daughter was young, never ever was anyone allowed to come and hug her or grab her without her permission. Even me. If I came to hug her and she didn't feel like it, okay, I'll respect your space. I taught her from a very early age, you're not a victim. You have the right to say, no, this is my wall. Or no, often she's shy with new people. And people are like, oh, hey, I'm like, hey, don't touch her. She doesn't want to talk to you, you don't touch her. I'm not raising her to be a victim. I'm raising her to know, this is my line, this is what I'm comfortable with. I'm fully empowered to say no, to have my personal space. Why would you raise women to be victims, per the feminist view, when you could raise them to be empowered, confident, to have some physicality, to know where the line is, and to be empowered to say, no, I'm not comfortable with this, and to make noise and change the situation? I think raising women to feel that they're victims is very damaging, also from a personal security level. Again, I'm a security professional, have been for a long time. If you want, take away gender, someone to be a sovereign individual who is safe in the world, you don't want them walking around feeling like they're a victim or under threat. You want them putting time into training. You want them having that, no, stop, I'm not comfortable with this. Why aren't we teaching women that? If we really care about women, why are we telling them that they're victims? I don't gel with that sort of thinking. The one thing I will say that surprised me a lot about Islam is the amount of emotion involved. Islam is a very masculine frame with which to approach life. Traditional values are enforced. A man has to protect. A man has to provide. You know, if you have the blessing of means, then you should give back to the community. To me, it's a very masculine mindset to apply to life. But also the amount of emotion involved. When I took Shahada, the Sheikh, he cried. And he's a serious guy. He's a masculine guy. It's the sort of guy you want to be polite to, but he shed a tear. To see such a masculine man, brought to that emotion is magical. I think it's very rare. And then often in the masjid, people are crying. I had no idea. I had one guy next to me once. He was quivering with emotion. That's how powerful it is. So to see, and everyone's talking about the heart. Everybody talks about the heart, about the softness of the heart. I've had about 4 or 5 very well-read Muslim men say, you have a very soft heart, you are open to Islam, you'll do well. I'm like, why are all these very strong masculine men talking about the heart? It's quite an interesting thing. So that's been a real learning for me too. I think the type of masculinity that I see in Muslim men who take their faith seriously is a very rounded masculinity. Yes, you take care of your family. Yes, it's your duty to be strong and to be able to defend and provide. But at the same time, you can shed a tear when talking about your relationship with God. You can feel emotion, and that's not frowned upon. And everyone's talking about the heart, as I mentioned. I think it's a very beautiful thing. You've got very masculine men who are also, in a healthy way, in touch with emotion through their relationship with God. What a fantastically rounded way to be a man in today's day and age, where we're being told all these different forms of being a man are the right way. I think the Islamic, approach to being a man is the most effective. I really believe that. So that's been a real learning and improvement in terms of value add to my life as well, man.
Yeah, this is one hadith where the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says that there's a piece of flesh within the body that if it's pure, then verily is the rest. And it's speaking about the heart.